Welcome to Lifestyle Buzz Today with Orlando. Fresh, innovative, entertaining talk about topics we are all in one way or another involved with. And now here's your host, Orlando Burgos.
Well, hello, my friends, whom I have not seen for a couple of weeks, I guess. Anyway, welcome to a new edition of the Connection to Better Living, or also known as the Antidote Without a Shot for Boring Radio. And I tell you, man, we are going to share some real good information here to kind of get you on the right track. To answer some questions that I've been getting some email. No, we are not a political show. You know that. Why do you keep on asking me? You know that very well. I'm not interested in politics. No, I did not see the interview with Kamala O'Donnell. No, I don't want to see another debate because we're almost there anyway. 16 more days and that's it. All I really want is for people to have a good time. Let this thing play out. Whichever way it goes, it's going to go. But don't let it affect you, okay? I mean, some people are really all up in arms about this and that and the other. Listen, politicians will always do their best or their worst, doesn't matter. It's what you do yourself for yourselves that matters, okay? For your families, for your friends, for your own growth. That's what matters. And you can do that no matter who's in power. Am I correct in assuming that?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I see it like, people get all upset if you put a Trump flag on the front yard of your house. Oh, if you have a camel up thing the same way. Let it be, man. I mean, come on. It's just flags. It's just politics. It's just somebody having fun, okay? In the meantime, plan your future. Damn it, man. There was a couple of things that we left unsaid from my trip to Cuba that I would want to expand on today. Then I want to share with you my new adventure. I'm learning to fly a gyrocopter. I mean, oh God, it's like I have been supersonic. I have been flying enormous planes, 747s. I have my time in that. Cargo, passengers, executive planes. I've done all kinds of things. I've never done helicopters. I have to clarify that. But now I got the hankering to learn about gyrocopters. Because, let's be honest, I'm getting to that age where, insurance companies are beginning to get a little leery, although my qualifications are very high. My attitude about it is really high, and my ability to fly is super great. I have over 30,000 hours. And, but commercially, I guess I have to move on. So there's going to be a gyrocopter. My first passenger is going to be Mr. Michael Gary. Why don't we take a break? We'll be right back.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident that was not your fault, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions for free. Call now and find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-745-9090. I'm here with spokesman John Wolf. So, John, tell everyone listening who should call right now.
Well, Maria, first off, thank you for having me here. It's always nice to answer the listeners' questions.
Now, as far as who should call in, anyone who's been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, give us a call right now. 800-745-9090. You'll find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth.
Thanks, John. You heard it, folks. Take advantage of this opportunity and call now. 800-745-9090.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center, may not be available in all states.
We are back again, and as you know, I have just returned. It's been a couple of weeks since I returned from Cuba, and we talked about it on my last show, and then I took a week off because I had some things to do. But you know what? There's a lot of things that people have been asking me, because I'm already beginning to post a trip or the availability of trips to Cuba. So I would say by tomorrow they're going to be all over our website at Lux Travel and at Lifestyle Buzz too. So they'll be there, and they are priced so right. And what I'm trying to do, so you'll know, is put a small group together, because a group gives you a lot of freedom. I don't do the Gray Line tours where you're all in a bus going back and forth, back and forth. We move in cars of 4. But the same token, you have the freedom to do a lot of stuff on your own, okay? The only reason why I like groups is because it brings the price down, dramatically, So if you want to do it on your own, for 2 people, it's probably $4,000. You do it with me, for 2 people, it's half of that. More affordable, okay? So anyway, things that you need to do. And there are a few books that I'm going to be recommending pretty soon. But one of the things that you need to do is, if you're flying from the U.S., you do need a special visa. Now, it sounds like really complicated, but it's not. All you need to do is shell out $100, and I'll fill it out for you, and I'll deliver it to you with your credentials, your itinerary, your vouchers, everything. Besides, there will always be somebody from Lux Travel at all the destinations that we do, waiting there for you to help you with all the picking up the luggage, everything. So you're not on your own anywhere. There is a form that is called the Viajeros. It's like a formula that you need to send or fill out for entry into Cuba. Again, don't worry about it. We take care of that, okay? We have access to the blanks, and we fill them out based on your passport and information that you had given us. And the only thing that you actually need to do is, when you get it, is just sign it. And when you go into Cuba, just turn it in. That's it. So we are, at Lux Travel, we try to make it as easy as possible when it comes to documentation. We don't really get too much involved in, well, yes, we are. We plan everything for you based on what you want, okay? In the case of Cuba, being that it's a little bit of a complicated place, not because it's dangerous, it's actually one of the safest places you can visit. You can walk around, there's no problem. It's just complicated because of the way things are politically over there. Nobody's going to bother you from the standpoint of politics. You can wear a red, white, and blue hat with the cowboy hat, the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, the last time we talked about this, they said, you said, based on your experience, they love Americans over there.
Yes, they do. They do. Because you know what? Everybody in Cuba has a relative that lives in here, okay? So they get news. Now there's a lot of conversation on telephones and stuff like that. So they have a very realistic point of view of what the U.S. is all about. Now, being a communist country, but it's a confusion because it's communist capitalist. Like you mentioned Vietnam. It's the same way. They love commerce. They love tourists. They love to trade. They love to talk about their country. Yet the government says, well, we're communists. But you don't see them. I mean...
Communist in name only, pretty much.
Pretty much so. I mean, like as I mentioned before, where it used to be, when I first started going to Cuba was maybe 25 years ago, maybe 30 years ago. It was ingrained in militarism. Everywhere you went, there was a cannon and there was a machine gun on the top of a Jeep. There was, I guess they were like trying to tell people that any moment now, the U.S. is going to be marching up the beach somewhere. So they had everybody on edge about that. Then tourism started coming in, started developing. Visitors started coming in. And then all of a sudden, people used to go to Mexico from the U.S. They used to travel to Cancun. In Cancun, they gave them a little special pass so you can fly into Cuba. They used to happen in Costa Rica and Panama the same way. You went there with the American passport, you could put it away because what you got was a travel card. The airlines would sell you a travel card, and that was it. Until the government of the U.S. started saying that they had no control of who went there or not. Now here, the U.S. government does not really have. They have a certain amount of control through the Office of Foreign Assets, but that's on us to put people there based on 12 categories. And the categories will open up the door to just about anything that people want to do, except it needs to be done in certain order. You cannot go from here directly to a beach resort. First, you need to do some cultural stuff, But it's what you go to Cuba to see, to do. You go there to learn about their culture. A lot of people, they like to go there from the Jewish culture because there's a very large
Jewish diaspora that moved there.
Community there, and they have one of the most beautiful synagogues. It needs to be seen, But I mean, by the same token, in communism, there's not supposed to be religions, but there's Catholic churches everywhere.
Yeah, that community, it's fascinating because it goes back to the Spanish-speaking Sephardic Jews in Spain that immigrated to Cuba during the conquest in 1590s, and so it's an amazing cultural artifact.
I mean, you find people from China, from Panama, from all nationalities, because it's actually a beautiful country. The countryside is so wonderful. I mean, it's just like, it's well worth taking a trip to see the real Cuba. Learn how to roll cigars and all of that. Just, we'll give you full instructions on what to do and what not to do. If you go ahead and do what you're not supposed to, well, it's on you. But we're not your mom and dad, okay? We're your guides. So anyway, call us at luxtravel.buzz. Contact us there, and we'll give you all the poop. We'll be right back.
These are the sounds of Colombo's Italian Steakhouse.
Look at this ribeye. Did you see that ribeye?
Fantastic. Incredible.
This is delicious.
Sausage and lentil soup, special today. Very, very good.
Look at this garlic bread. Best garlic bread I ever had.
And here's Vic Perino, owner and operator of Colombo's.
A lot of the Italian recipes are my uncle's own recipes. We have a lot of people coming back for his hand-rolled lasagna. We make it basically from scratch. I think ours is exceptional.
Here's Vic on what makes Colombo's different than any other Italian restaurant.
The other thing that sets us apart from other Italian restaurants is that we're an Italian steakhouse. We specialize in our steaks.
Plus, there's more.
They're coming for a lot of reasons to value. Their value per dollar that they're getting, plus coming into a neighborhood-friendly place. Sometimes we're actually accused of being the melting pot of Eagle Rock.
Columbo's in Eagle Rock on Colorado Boulevard, 323-254-9138. Mangia.
Attention! This is a public notice from the Social Security Disability Helpline. If you're one of the millions of Americans who are disabled and unable to work, you may be eligible for disability benefits from Social Security. Receiving benefits is your right. If you suffer from physical or mental disability, whether you're applying for the first time or you've already been denied, we can help. We'll evaluate your situation and deal with Social Security on your behalf. Best of all, there's no fee until you receive your benefits. Remember, we only get paid if you win your case. There are many reasons and conditions that may make you eligible for disability benefits. Many of them you may not be aware of. So if you're disabled and unable to work, call now to get started with your free, no-obligation consultation.
800-559-4185. 800-559-4185. 800-559-4185. That's 800-559-4185.
Come relax and rediscover Ka'anapali Resort on Maui. Ka'anapali Maui is so close and so easy to get there. And once you arrive at Ka'anapali Resort, say goodbye to stress, worries, and work, and hello to paradise and fun. Rediscover Ka'anapali Maui. New restaurants, new hotel upgrades, a myriad of activities, golf courses with an ocean view, 2 shopping centers, 11 properties, spa treatments for all. And this October, join us for the Hawaii Food and Wine Festival. Tastings, wine, food, new chefs, golf, pickleball, and our new Hawaiian barbecue. Relax and learn about Hawaiian culture. Discover Ka'anapali Beach Resort on the west side of Maui. Visit ka'anapaliresort.com. KAANAPALI resort.com.
White Mountain Air Park to Orlando, over. Yes, I'm going to be talking today about my new adventure. And I have to tell you one thing. Like I was mentioning to Michael, I have been very fortunate in my flying career. And I know what it is to fly supersonic because I've done it myself, okay? I know what it is to fly a big brute of an airplane that's full of passengers, because I've done that too. And also the beautiful, luxurious executive jets. I mean, like, oh my God. So anything that has to do with flying, I love. I have to say that. And now my new passion is gyrocopters. I have to tell you one thing. Flying low and slow, and you can see everything that's like a postcard, and it's like, oh man, it's just something that is very hard for me to express because I enjoy it to the max doing it. So I'm going to see to it that I'm going to work out something with the people that fly these gyrocopters.
Well, let's just describe, because I think maybe some of our audience does not know what a gyrocopter is. So I'm going to put a photo of you in the gyrocopter, looking quite cool on the screen. Yeah. So what is this bad boy?
That is is made by a company in Europe, and I think it's Poland or Czechoslovakia, I think, called Nikki's Gyrocopter. And it's a combination. It looks like a helicopter, but it's not, okay? The rotor that you see there spins with the little engine that's in the back until it reaches 225 RPM. And then it's freewheeling. It becomes like a gigantic wing. okay? And it takes off like an airplane. You put it on a runway, and it takes off, and it climbs really nice. It can go up to 10,000 feet. But the thing is that, why? I mean, like, seriously, it is safe, and it's just a joy to fly. Now, there's this one in particular. I had to take my first lesson sitting in the back seat, which for a pilot is like being a passenger. But no, I actually got to fly it a lot. I got to land it. I got to do everything that they've done in the front. But the people that own the plane need to make sure that I could control it, because all the instrumentation is in the front. So I got checked out to where on my next lesson I'll be in the front, so which is a little bit different. But nonetheless, it is a small aircraft, and again, some of them are built here in the U.S., but most of them are built in Europe and Spain, Czechoslovakia, Poland. That is one of the photos that I took from the air.
What altitude do you think is that did you take that photo at?
About 2,500.
Wow.
Yeah. No. I mean, the entire flight, actually, we spent over an hour and a half, something like that, going all over. And you can cover a lot of territory in that period of time, you know. But the funny thing is that there's a video that I took going towards the Hollywood sign. And then we made a sharp turn, and it's like right there. You can almost touch it, you know? And then you go over the top of the hill, and you're in Burbank already. So it's just amazing the feeling that you get. They're easy to fly. Just takes a little bit of use to. And the training is very much available. So there really are not that many here in the U.S. That particular model, there's only 5 in the entire U.S. That's it. So they're very low production planes. But if you can take a flight in one of them, you should. You should take a flight on anything, but the main thing is actually people should know what it feels to control a plane. It's the best. Have you ever been in the cockpit?
Not in the cockpit. I have flown on small planes, like on Cessna 172s here and there, and that was always a unique experience.
Yeah, it is. I was like a kid with a brand new bag of candy, and I intend to keep on talking about it. So we'll be right back.
You order a glass of your favorite Cabernet, fresh asparagus, hollandaise on the side, a filet, medium rare. You unfurl your napkin with a flair, close your eyes, and prepare to listen. Ah, there it is. The sweet music you long to hear. The sizzle. The sizzle of a Ruth's Chris steak.
The most magnificent corn-fed prime beef, broiled to perfection at 1,800 degrees. Some call it a sizzle. We call it an anthem.
As the waiter approaches, you think, is this one mine or that one?
Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Like Ruth always said, life's too short to eat anywhere else.
Make a reservation online at ruthschris.com or by calling 800-544-0808.
Are you nearly maxed out on your credit cards? It doesn't matter if you're using your credit cards for fun or to survive. At the end of the month, your statements come in, and you can either pay them or you can't. If you can't, late fees and interest rates get tacked on. And now you're struggling just to make the minimum payment due. Do you feel trapped? Am I talking to you? Good, because I personally researched some companies that can help you. They may be able to reduce your credit card balances by 50% and stop the late fees. If you qualify, please call our special debt hotline number right now for a complimentary free 5-minute consultation. Deal with your credit card problem now before it gets much worse and put more money back in your pocket. Trust me, I've been there too. Call right now.
800-475-7125. 800-475-7125. That's 800-475-7125.
The Allstate America's Best Drivers Report is here. So which city has the nation's safest drivers? Glenn Shapiro of Allstate.
Kansas City, Kansas earned the #1 spot, followed by Brownsville, Texas, and Madison, Wisconsin. We want to educate all drivers to be vigilant. The number of deadly collisions continues to rise, and they can happen anywhere at any time.
That's why Allstate is working on a plan to encourage all drivers to be safe.
For years, Allstate has released its list of the safest driving cities, and we think every city should strive to be on top. So this summer, we're launching our new campaign to continue our advocacy for roadway safety, from the busiest highways to neighborhood streets.
Shapiro says driver behavior can make all the difference.
Most collisions are caused by preventable human error, so keep a safe distance between you and the car in front of you. Avoid distractions like texting while driving, and of course never operate under the influence. Simple precautions like this can keep us all safer.
For more, go to allstate.com/bestdriversreport.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Their expert staff can help you turn your book idea into a real book, a masterpiece that could someday make the bestseller list in hard copy and digitally all across the world. Page Publishing can help you completely take your idea for a book, write it, and publish it. So if you want to join the ranks of some of the most famous authors in the world, call now for a free information kit. Turn your book idea into publishing gold. Make a free call right now to Page Publishing.
800-378-3212. 800-378-3212. 800-378-3212. That's 800-378-3212.
Right along. Michael, I have a question for you.
Okay.
When you travel, we're both foodies, you know. What do you look for? Let's say you're traveling to a couple of countries and wherever. What do you look for most in the food there?
Okay, so when I'm traveling, especially when I used to travel a lot abroad when I was younger, I would always try to find the place where you have locals there.
Mm-hmm.
You also want to find the place, you don't want to go to a place that's open like all the time. You know, the best places that I ate, especially like in Vietnam, were small little places like right on the street, usually in front of somebody's apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And they come down from their apartment maybe at like 10 a.m. and then they set up their little cart with, you know, pho or, you know, a ben mai or any of the delicious curries as well. And then they're done around 4.
Okay.
In terms of fine dining, I want to go to a place that is been there for a long time. That has, you know, a feel of the country I'm visiting itself. That's like when I was in Japan, there was a lot of, you know, Japan's one of the great food cities in the world, or to Tokyo, that is. And you kind of want to avoid the more corporate places. But there's so many restaurants in Tokyo, and the dining experience is quite unique.
In Japan, the thing is that they're very big into, I guess, the gourmet type of a thing. And I mean, you can go places and buy a steak that costs you $1,000. I mean, you know, the Wagyu steak.
Yes and no. You know, you can, if you want to, you know, have it's similar to here in America, but a little bit more, I think, pronounced, where, you know, the A5 Japanese A5 Wagyu, which is the best in the world. Yeah, there's places out there that'll sell it, for $1,000 a plate, but also there's places where you can get like a tasting menu for maybe $225, $250, where you're not getting a huge steak, but they bring you out like a nice, a couple cuts of a ribeye, a couple cuts like by the ounce, and it's almost like a sushi bar where you're sitting there and the grill's right in front of you. The etiquette there is you don't want to do a lot of talking, you don't want to take a lot of photos. It's just you just sit there and you like appreciate the chef and appreciate the meat.
Yeah, that's what this conversation is driving. As you know, I come from Latin America, and in my travel company, we specialize in travel in Latin America. Well, sometimes we get a call, people want to travel, this and that, and they want to have a gourmet experience in Latin America. Which just so happens that in thinking about it, there really is no such thing, because the food in Latin America is very tasty, no matter where you go, even like in Mexico, But they are actually simple dishes that have been elevated and made popular because of the great taste. But they don't really qualify as foo-foo gourmet, because there really are very few gourmet chefs in Latin America.
Well, but I'm going to kind of come back with you a little bit. I think times are changing, Orlando, because just recently, last week, for instance, I went to a two-star Michelin restaurant. This 2-star Michelin restaurant is in a strip mall, just in Monrovia, and it's called Luscious Dumplings. You can look it up on the internet. It's a 2-star Michelin restaurant, and it's a little small 4-table restaurant making dumplings. And I think that before the quote unquote gourmet was about presentation and about the personality and reputation of the chef, but I think now you're seeing the Michelin Guide and other kind of highfalutin foodies, they're becoming far more accepting of authenticity, of simplicity, and unpretentiousness.
Well, think about this. What is actually in today's world, when people talk about it, more pretentious than lobster tail, okay, whatever. Well, lobster started as prisoner food because nobody wanted it a long time ago. So did the bouillabaisse. Bouillabaisse, today is actually like a fantastic dish. A well-prepared bouillabaisse is like, leaves you sucking you cannot get enough bread to get the juices out of the plate, What was that? It was poor people's fare made out of all the leftovers that the rich people did not want to eat.
Well, think about what barbecue has come.
Yeah.
Barbecue, Franklin's Barbecue is, known as one of the best restaurants in the world. And, in Texas. And what do they specialize in? Which is brisket. And brisket for many, many years was, the cut that the butcher would take home because no one wanted to buy it because it was so tough. And so they figured out if you smoke it for 24 hours, it's one of the best bites of food you'll ever have.
Yeah. So, that brings me to the idea that I hear a lot about this from people who fancy themselves up in the scale of food connoisseurs, And the thing is that what they appreciate, and a chef deserves every single bit of credit for what they do, because they really slave in those kitchens to make sure that everything is really right for you. And I love them all. Famous, unfamous, doesn't matter. Even the line cooks, they really put up with a lot, to make sure that the food is the better quality. Sometimes things don't come out exactly right, and they get ostracized because, people don't find their taste to be...
Now more than ever, because they put them on blast on Yelp or on social media.
I know. But the fact is that barring all the fancy stuff and the tiny little cuts and the little flour made out of a radish and all of that, which is very important for the presentation, is good, I think what we need to do is learn to savor the differences in like in a meatball. I mean, like something as simple as a meatball. You know, succulent, juicy, make it last a long time. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to make a difference for the environment while helping the visually impaired at the same time? Then donate your vehicle to Heritage for the Blind today by calling 800-785-9618. Every donated vehicle will either be properly recycled in an eco-friendly manner or given a new life through reuse. Donating your vehicle is easy. Simply call 1-800-785-9618 and Heritage for the Blind will do the rest. They'll even arrange for your vehicle to be picked up at no cost to you. And for a limited time, when you donate your car, you'll receive a $200 restaurant voucher and a 2-night, 3-day hotel stay at one of 50 locations. Call 800-785-9618 right now to schedule your tax-deductible vehicle donation and make a positive impact on the environment while helping others. Heritage for the Blind, where every car donation counts and every person makes a difference. Call 1-800-785-9618 now. Do you ever just look in the mirror and wish you could recapture that youthful glow? Well, wish no more. Greska's Face Serum uses the cutting-edge science of carbon-60 to target the signs of aging and reveal your skin's true beauty. The secret? Only 2 natural ingredients. Our Nobel Prize-winning carbon-60 molecule, which knocks out the sun's UV damage, and a high-quality cosmetic squalane oil. The payoff is a radiant complexion that is smoother and more evenly toned. Greska's Face Serum is your ally in the fight against aging, reducing the appearance of age spots and wrinkles over time. It works great for acne too. Call now for our introductory offer at 720-600-6040 or visit our website at c60.com. That's 720-600-6040 or c60.com. Greska's Carbon 60 for a beautiful you. c60.com.
We're having a great conversation here about food. And we arrived at something that it's very common in our society, is that if you have to pay a high price for anything, bottle of wine, a shot of whiskey, it doesn't matter. If you are willing to pay $1,000 for a drink, it has to be the best. And that's not necessarily so. I mean, it's all in your taste buds. Is best the best if you feel that you have been like nourished, satisfied, that you have that taste stuck in the back of your jowls there. You know, I don't know how to explain it, but the fact is that there's a lot of food that has not really fit or have been fitted into the gourmet class that is actually very delicious. In Latin America, where I come from in Costa Rica, we make great sausage, the chorizo, okay? I mean, it's like, without a doubt, one of the best. And there's a simple dish called picadillo where they make like a hashed with potatoes, or they make it from green plantains, and they mix it with the chorizo, peppers, the whole thing. And the flavor is so intense. It's so fulfilling. I mean, just smelling it, gives you that super satisfaction of wanting more and more and more, I consider that to be the essence of fine dining.
Yeah, because I mean, what you mentioned during the break too is that gourmet and fine dining has often been equated with price.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and like when I was in Asia, in China, for example, years ago, I had some bird's nest soup.
Okay,
it's one of the most expensive things you can get in China. It was gross. The only reason it's popular is because like a certain group of people have to climb these cliffs to get the bird nests and bring them back down, risking death. And there's
it's actually a risk to go down to.
It is, and it becomes a status symbol. I mean, similarly, like I think I've said this on the show before. Like, I love a fine dining steakhouse. I mean, I love Fleming's or Ruth Chris, and go there and spend $155 on a tomahawk. It's a great steak, but is it that much better than just going to Vaughn's or Pavilions, getting a ribeye yourself and cooking it yourself?
Yeah.
Because I've never had, and this is not like saying that I'm a great cook or anything like that, or somebody who's great with the grill, but I've never had a steak better than a steak that I've cooked myself because I know how I like it.
Yeah.
And, like you said, too, some of the the best bites of food I like are, little dumplings, shumai dumplings that are $12 for 4 of them.
Yeah. I know. It's that's always been the case, though. Like since time immemorial, when millionaires were invented, I guess, is that if they could be the ones that can afford a particular thing, it had to be the best.
Oysters Rockefeller. They named him after Rockefeller.
I mean, what are they? Just like oysters grilled with cheese? And
oysters baked with breadcrumbs and cheese on top.
Yeah. So, I mean, it is just about anything. That my main thing is that I think people need to go abroad and experience the local fare. If you go, even a hamburger cooked Costa Rican style or Mexican style or whatever, it's still ground meat.
Well, you said something important too about Latin America, about the kind of expectations of Latin America, especially from Americans, because they're like, oh well, Latin American, it's just going to be about Mexican food. Yeah. No, it's not.
No, it's
and
not.
Even in Mexico, the Mexican food you get here, it's just like Chinese food. It's Mexican American food.
You know what is really funny? When we started traveling by land to Costa Rica, we'd have to drive through Mexico, right? And there's a place in Mexico City called the Tenampa. And we were kids. I mean, just probably 13, something like that. And we went there, and I love burritos. So I asked un burrito. Huh? And the guy looked at me like, finally somebody came over. He goes, no, that's an invention from north of the border, So actually the burritos started in Texas. Yeah. So there's a lot of misconception of foods abroad.
Yeah, when I went to Mexico City, and I was like, all right, let's go to the tacos. Let's do the tacos. And so there's a part of Mexico City where there's just all these different taco carts and stuff like that. And a lot of the tortillas they were using didn't like the tortillas that I was used to eating. Yeah. They were blue. And I'm like, why are these tortillas blue? This is crazy. Have they gone bad?
Yeah.
And then you try one because they're made right in front of you.
Yeah.
And it's one of the best tacos you'll ever have.
Well, you know what? It's really funny because you mentioned tortillas are made just anywhere in Latin America, okay? But it used to be that when I was growing up in my house, there was a lady that made the masa, treated the corn, made the masa itself, and they hit it, boom, boom, and they lay it on a comal, and they come out. Those tortillas are unique in flavor. It's such a depth of flavor that
very similar how to the Italian street pizza, where the pizza, it's not about the cheese, it's not about the sauce or the toppings, it's about the crust.
The crust.
And so you don't need to overload it with anything. Similarly to the tacos like that, where just a little bit of salsa, a little bit of radish, some onion, cilantro, a little bit of meat, some cheese, and it's the combination of all those things plus the fresh made tortilla, because also that tortilla's got some lard in it that make it super delicious.
All right. Well, so that's it. We educated you on going to eat abroad. We'll be right back.
No more mold, no more damage, no more outdated old bathroom. No more slipping and hurting. No more stress. Make your ordinary bathroom extraordinary for only $99 per month. New shower, new door, new tub, new wall, new anti-slip technology. Be stress-free. Call 800-973-5411. BCI Bath and Shower is made in America for the highest quality. Ask about our military and senior discounts. Your dream bathroom in as little as 1 day. First 50 callers save $1,500 on a never-clear glass treated door. Call now for free premium color upgrades. 800-973-5411. Call BCI Bath and Shower, the leader in bathroom remodeling. Be smart, safe, and stay a step ahead of inflation with our interest-free financing options. Call 800-973-5411. Love your bathroom with free upgrades. Call 800-973-5411. 800-973-5411.
These are the sounds of Columbo's Italian Steakhouse.
Look at this ribeye. You see that ribeye?
Fantastic. Incredible.
This is delicious.
Sausage and lentil soup, special today. Very, very good.
Look at this garlic bread. Best garlic bread I ever had.
And here's Vic Perino, owner and operator of Columbo's.
A lot of the Italian recipes are my uncle's own recipes. We have a lot of people coming back for his hand-rolled lasagna. We make it basically from scratch. I think ours is exceptional.
Here's Vic on what makes Columbo's different than any other Italian restaurant.
The other thing that sets us apart from other Italian restaurants is that we're an Italian steakhouse. We specialize in our steaks.
Plus, there's more.
They're coming for a lot of reasons to value. Their value per dollar that they're getting, plus coming into a neighborhood-friendly place. So, sometimes we're actually accused of being the melting pot of Eagle Rock.
Columbo's in Eagle Rock on Colorado Boulevard, 323-254-9138. Mangia.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet. So make a free call to Page Publishing. Their expert staff can help you turn your book idea into a real book, a masterpiece that could someday make the bestseller list in hard copy and digitally all across the world. Page Publishing can help you completely take your idea for a book, write it, and publish it. So if you want to join the ranks of some of the most famous authors in the world, call now for a free information kit. Turn your book idea into publishing gold. Make a free call right now to Page Publishing.
800-378-3212. 800-378-3212. 800-378-3212. That's 800-378-3212.
Time flies when you're having fun. Michael, what have we missed? What do we need?
How are your Cowboys doing?
Yeah. Oh, God, I thought you were my buddy, man. Oh.
I'm just here to commiserate with you. Last week, of course, the Dallas Cowboys lost, I think, 49-7. And then Jerry Jones went on national radio and became indignant. So how about those Cowboys?
Listen, I've been a fan since they came on the world, 1962, I guess. I think that the very best times for the Cowboys was the Landry and Jimmy Jones. I mean, John
that
Johnson,
would be the late 60s, 70s, and then the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah. Since then, I mean, I don't know why Jimmy Johnson didn't stay longer. There could have been more Super Bowls, But I think what it is that, like anything else, there are bosses who are inspirational, and there are bosses who they diminish the love of what they do. And I think that's what's happening with the Cowboys. I think the owner needs to retire.
Well, yeah. It is probably the most valuable professional sports franchise
It is.
outside of maybe like Real Madrid or something like that. But I think, like you said, there's bosses that will support you in good times and bad. And then there's bosses that will not support you when times are bad, but also when times are good, those same bosses want all the credit. And I think that the answer to your question of why Jimmy Johnson left is that Jerry Jones wanted to be the guy that says this is well, I did all this.
Yeah, he wanted to hold on to the fact. There's bosses and there's leaders.
Very well said, Orlando.
I think
those two terms aren't mutually exclusive.
No, in this particular case, Jerry Jones is. He's got all the rights in the world because he owns the place or whatever, but he's a boss. Okay, the Cowboys need a leader.
Tom Landry was the epitome of a leader.
Yeah, because what happened was that at that time the Cowboys were owned by Jerry Jones and forget the name. It was the original owners. Jerry Jones was not in it, but Tom Landry made himself the leader, and he let them know, you want the gold, follow my lead. I'll guarantee it to you. And it's true. He had the great players, and he inspired great players. Now, there's a lot of great players in the team, but they're all prima donnas. They're all really, they're all after. It's not a team anymore that has cohesion. It's just a bunch of guys playing together.
Yeah, and at this point too, when in all professional sports, when these players are making so much money, we're talking generational wealth. It's hard to put team first when your performance could also, benefit not only your children but your children's children and your children's children's children.
I have not seen one player of any kind of league, in soccer included, that's worth the hundreds of millions of dollars that some of these guys get contracts for. So anyway, I don't have that problem because I don't have a contract. But if I did, it would probably be worth $100. Anyway, Michael, we're having a great time here, but we have to go. That's all there is to it. Enjoy the rest of the day. Have a good time. We'll see you next week for sure. And there's going to be some changes being announced next week. We'll be right back.
No, we're done.
We're done.
We'll see you guys next week.
Don't wait for me, okay? We're going.